Hi, it's me, Daphne, and this is not my normal setup. I have moved. I'm in a new apartment. I haven't really announced this on YouTube officially yet because honestly I'm behind on videos. But if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen me posting on stories a bit about my move. I have been vlogging it, so those videos are coming, but that's not today's video. Today is my May TBR, but I just want to give that disclaimer, okay? You're getting a little sneak peek of the moving series that I am working on, but I have to catch up on some more vlogs. I was a bit MIA in April because of the move and because of some traveling due to a wedding and all that stuff. So I have a couple vlogs to catch up on with like 2 from March, and then once I catch up to April, you'll be getting moving content. So look forward to that. As you would have already seen, I announced that I am co-hosting the historical romance readathon with Crystal and a bunch of other lovely booktubers. You can find us on Discord. That is where we're going to be the most active. I'm going to be vlogging a little bit of this as well, tied in with my move and all that. But I'm very excited to dive into some historical romances. Oh my god, I'm sweating. It's so hot up here. So I'm gonna strip off this hoodie. All right, let's start with the book I'm currently reading, which is Falling into Bed with a Duke by Lorraine Heath. I'm already 126 pages into this. I started it yesterday. Today is May 2nd. I'm having a good time with it. The plot is fun. So we have a spinster woman who's been on the shelf for a while. She doesn't find herself to be like the most beautiful woman, but she has a really big dowry. So men are interested in marrying her, but she is not interested in marrying someone that just wants her for her money. She's looking for love. And she is just kind of like feeling like it's never gonna happen for her. So she finds out about this like illicit club where women are free to find a lover for the night. So she goes there and she meets the Duke. She knows him already, but she's masked and her identity is hidden. It's their romance because he's like the bachelor, everybody wants him kind of guy, but for whatever reason, this one woman, even though he can't really place who she is, intrigues him and like he wants to know more about her. So he has to like convince her. It says, how does he prove that passion unleashed in darkness is only the beginning of a lifetime's pleasure? So yeah, he wants to be with her long term, but he has to convince her that he's serious. So sounds really cute. I'm enjoying the plot. The writing is it could be like more emotionally moving for me, but like I'm having so much fun with the plot that it doesn't matter. So this is the first book. And then I have more historicals, but I want to jump to a mandatory read that I definitely need to get to for May. And that is Pachinko. I have to read this for my IRL book club with my friends in the New York City area, considering I don't live in New York City anymore. Sad. But I don't live that far from New York City, so I'll still be going back into the city to hang out with them and stuff. Like, it's no big deal. But yeah, this book has been on my TBR for a really long time. I picked it up a long while ago, like probably over a year ago, and it looks like I got to page 34, which is chapter 5, and it's just a really sad read. This is about a Korean woman, I believe, her struggles with life and having a son and then marrying another man and moving to Japan and like the racism that the Japanese had against the Korean, I'm pretty sure. So it's a historical book, and Pachinko is like a gambling type game. I'm pretty sure it's like you have the wooden pegs on a board and then you drop the little disc down and it kind of bounces. I'm pretty sure it's like that. I could be totally wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's that. Those first 4 chapters, I was like, I'm not ready for this right now. So I give myself a break, but I'm really trying to read off my physical TBR, so I recommended this for book club, and everybody was super excited about it. And some people have read it before, and they were excited to reread it, so I really need to emotionally prepare for this book because I have to read it. And I want to read it, I really do. It's just a chunky sad boy. Now back to the historicals. The first one I have here is Through the Storm by Beverly Jenkins. This is the first book in the Levesque series, and I have 3 of them. I have 3 of the books in the series, so I really want to like get to it. And of course I had to read a Bev J for this readathon. What I know about it is that this man needs to marry to gain his inheritance, and he ends up marrying this woman who was a former slave, but for whatever reason it says he couldn't allow himself to trust again. So I don't know what's up with his past. I don't know if they've had a pass between each other, but intrigued. I know Bev Jenkins isn't like the spiciest historical romance author, and sometimes it can be very like slice of life, but I really want to read more Black historicals. She is a great resource for that, though not the only one for sure. But I have a bunch of her books on my physical TBR and I want to make my way through them. So excited to dive into this one. I already have a bookmark in there because I wanted to read it in another month but got pulled away for other reading obligations. So I'm happy to have an excuse to pick up this historical romance. The next one I have is The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. This is a Bridgerton book, okay? And I'm so excited about this. I know it's going to be very different from the show, but the gist of it is that this handsome duke, he's a very eligible bachelor, and all the mamas and the daughters are like trying to get him married and he just doesn't want to commit. And then we have Daphne Bridgerton. And if you know me, obviously, if you're here, I hope you know who I am. I'm Daphne. And she spells it the same way as me, so I think that's really fun. I've never read a book with a character with the same name as me, especially as the main character. I've come across some like random side characters or like characters off page that are mentioned with the name Daphne, but this is the first time I'm reading it like constantly. I'm pretty sure this is going to be in third person, right? Yeah, it's in third person. So I'm just going to be reading my name constantly. It's going to be a very strange experience for me because I don't have a very common name. Though to be fair, I feel like my name is growing in popularity. I'm just seeing it in more media, like as characters, like on TV and like Netflix and stuff, randomly, outside of just this. And it kind of makes me like a little salty. I like being the main Daphne. I was cool sharing my reign with like Daphne from Scooby-Doo. It was a great reference. But yeah, like kind of like, guys, lay off on using Daphne. Like, I like being special and unique and like a rare name. So they need to back off. But yeah, excited to get to this. But anyway, I was telling you the synopsis, right? So then Daphne comes in and they like fake an engagement so he can help her with her prospects and like make her more desirable and like fit in with society a bit better because she's like a little socially not fitting the norm as well as she could. So there's that. This next one sounds really fun too. It's called This Earl of Mine by Kate Bateman. I've read from Kate Bateman before, and I was just about to say, I don't know if this is the first in a series, but this little blue circle here says, first in a new series. So that's exciting. Also, sorry about the lighting. I have my ring light here, but I don't have the plug for it. I don't know where the cord is. It's missing. It's probably somewhere lost downstairs in a bin. But this one sounds really fun. So it has to do with a woman, this shipping heiress, Georgiana. She doesn't really want to get married, but everybody's like harassing her to get married. So she decides to kind of like fake a marriage by marrying someone that's in prison for life. She's like, I'll just marry this guy who's in jail for life. I'll never have to see him. And then everyone will get off my back, right? Great plan. But turns out the man she picked, he's like an undercover cop or something. Obviously, this is like all old-timey. He's undercover for whatever reason, and they get married. And then when he's not undercover anymore, he comes back and he's like, hey, hi, we're married and I want to stay married and I like you and I want to convince you to be in love with me and all this stuff. So what a unique premise. Very intrigued to see how that works out for them. And he must be an Earl. I don't know why an Earl would be working undercover. Oh my god. All the ones that I picked I'm really excited about. I feel like the plots are so interesting. I haven't read that many historicals in a while, like over a year. So this is like so fun. These plots are really interesting. So I have Splendid by Julia Quinn. Another Julia Quinn on my thing, right? This is the same woman from Bridgerton, right? I do not know if this is the first one in a series. I really don't. Oh, it is the first one. I used to look them up and then I would write down. It says book one right here. I would write it myself, because I'm really a stickler for reading things in order if I can. So that makes me really happy. I don't think any of these are not first books in a series so far, which is very satisfying. This one is about a redheaded American heroine. She jumps in front of a carriage to save the young nephew of the hero, the Duke of Ashbourne. She just looks like a commoner or whatever, but he's very intrigued by her, but he knows like he can't be intrigued by her because she's a commoner. But it turns out she's an heiress. She needs to marry, but she really doesn't want to. of course. And I think he discovers her true identity like out on the ton, like through the events of the season. And it's like, wait, aren't you that same like commoner that like jumped in front of a carriage to save my nephew that I was intrigued by? Like, what are you doing here? And I think he gets a little like upset. It says, she never dreamed she'd find herself in the arms of a dangerously handsome duke, or that he'd be quite so upset when he discovered her true identity. But true love tends to blossom just when one least expects it, and passion can melt even the most stubborn of hearts. So hopefully he's not too butthurt because we don't like a rude man, but what a cool premise. A mistaken identity kind of thing. And you know what? I'm just thinking now, as I'm on the Cinderella team, I'm supposed to be picking books with like class difference and all this stuff. And I don't think I picked books based on that. I picked books strictly off synopsis. And I picked the Cinderella one because I was looking at the synopses before and I was like, oh yeah, I got some class difference ones in here. Proceeds to not check when I made this TBR. I think the Bev Jenkins one would probably count because she was formerly a slave and the other guy's like a wealthy guy. But the other ones, I don't really know how they fit. We'll just read what we want and we'll log them as they end up being. It's not the most strategic, but I'm just here for a good time, okay? I'm sure my team will boost our points. And then the last historical I'm putting on this list. Also, this list is like, is it realistic? I don't think so. I'm like, this is a lot of books already. That was so many books. But I literally just pulled all the historicals I thought were good, like that I was intrigued with. This one's like a time travel one. We also have a time traveler team, so I can count points for that because I'm reading another team's trope. So that's cool. We have this woman, Dr. Rain Jordan, and then like after getting hit in the head or something, she gets transported back in time onto a battlefield. And she wakes up and she's like in front of this handsome Norse man, and he takes her prisoner. It says, in his eyes, Rain is a prisoner, and he'd dearly love to avail himself of her medical skills, because apparently she's a medical doctor, not to mention her considerable knowledge of the male anatomy. But the infuriating woman has ideas of her own. If Silic isn't careful, the stunning siren might very well capture his savage heart and make a warrior of love out of the outlaw Viking. Yeah, sounds super fun. I haven't read like a historical time travel book before, so this is my first one. Obviously Outlander's like the most famous one. I do have Outlander somewhere, which I did not pick up in the pile, I don't think, because I don't remember reading it last night when I was thinking about this list. Where's my copy of Outlander? Do I not have a copy of Outlander? I swore I had a copy of Outlander. Strange. I do not think I got rid of it. Or maybe I just never had it. I feel gaslit by myself right now. What the heck? Anyway, so that's the last historical I have. And honestly, I don't think I could read that many books anyway, but I have other books that I kind of just want to read ASAP, but I probably won't read them in May. Should I tell you about them in detail? No, but I'll just flash them really quick. I'm really excited to continue on with the last book in Harry Potter, which is The Deathly Hallows. I do want to read this really soon because I don't want to like lose my memories of book 6 too much, because I let too much time go in between 5 and 6, and that hurt. So I don't want to do that again for 7. So maybe I will read it in May. I really am excited to finish this series and this video project I've been working on, which is probably gonna be like 4 hours long. So you do not have to watch it, but I'm gonna post it anyway because I've been filming it for like a year now. And then I also have Wild Love by Elsie Silvers because I'm just like, I needed a fun, silly romance, but I'm having so much fun with the historicals that maybe I don't need this right now. But the last one, I also kind of want to read ASAP because it just feels really fitting since I moved. This is The World We Make by N.K. Jemisin. It's the second book in a series. The first one was called The City We Became, and I did this huge video project for that. I visited the locations in New York where the book takes place and gave you a tour around the city, and it took so long because the city isn't big, but it's also massive at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, it takes me like 45 minutes to go 4 miles or more, where if you're like in the suburbs and you're driving, that's like nothing. So yeah, the city is like dense, but also it takes a while to move around it like that. So I was like hopping everywhere. So I'm so excited to get that video out for you. And then we'll catch up to real time on the vlogs. The vlogs are like really behind in the times. I probably started filming that, I don't even know, like February probably. So yeah, I've got a lot of catching up to do, but I don't know if I'll actually read this because I am enjoying my historicals right now. I'm like having so much fun with the one that I started. So I don't think I'll need to get to that, but it's on my radar. And like, if I wasn't doing a historical romance readathon, I would probably read that. All right, so those are all the books that I am hoping to read in May, the books that I'm like the most interested to pick up in May. I hope you enjoyed spending some time with me. If you did, please feel free to leave this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it, and obviously it helps out my channel. And I will catch you in another video. Bye!